Hello, this is Jason Lillywhite with Lillywhite Water Solutions. Today I'm going to show you how to use the R-THYM program, and specifically I will talk about some new features that have been added, one of them being a new AI chat agent that runs within the program, and then I'll also talk about how to use scenarios. So I'm going to start with a example model. This is just a demo model that you can open, and anybody can run this model. Okay, so what we have here is a long pipeline that is draining water from an upper constant head reservoir down to a lower constant head reservoir. And what we will do with this model is we'll go ahead and run it, and then I'm going to close the valve quickly, and we will see the transients and surge as a result of the fast closure rate of this valve. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start the run. And as you can see, it's showing a constant flow. I'll come over here to this valve and initiate a closure. And what we see on the left are the flows in all these reaches of the pipe. And then over on the right, we see the pressures at all of the junctions here. I'll go ahead and pause this. And you can see here we have a large fluctuation of flows and a spike in pressure upstream of the valve. And then also we have cavitation and very low low pressures also in the pipe at various junctions. So in this program, you can go over here to the right panel and click on Study Summary. In here, I've added engineering acceptance criteria to essentially just look over the whole system and make sure that we don't have any issues. Well, in this current run, we have many issues, many of those having to do with these low pressures that we're hitting. And so you can read through those. And you can also go down and you can look at what's the worst case, look at all of the different components of the model and their min and max pressures and so forth. We can also go over here to the AI Copilot and say, how did my system perform? And it turns out that this AI chat agent has access to both the all of the components of your model, how it's set up, all of its properties, and also the results of this run. So with all of that information, it's able to tell you about the system, how it performed, some of the issues that you have. And so you could come in here and you could say, well, what can I do to fix this? And then what it will do is it will, based on that information, provide some ideas. So you can see right here, one of the things we can do is add a surge tank. We can adjust valve settings, increase the pipe diameter. Let's start with a couple of those things and use scenarios to compare. So what I'll do is, if you look at over here in the live telemetry, if I click into the canvas here, it shows the system-wide telemetry, and it shows here that it recorded an event. These events that it records during a run are the manual events that we create during a run. So I turned this valve off manually. That was recorded. So that's a good thing to have, because now when I do a scenario, it will automatically sync that same event when we do a scenario. So now I'm going to create a new scenario and say larger, I'll just say change pipe and valve. Okay, so now we have a new scenario here. I'm going to close that for a second. You can see here it's saved these results in dashed lines from the previous run. Now I'm just going to go through here and change the pipe size. I'll make it a really large pipe from what it was before, and just go through here. Okay, I changed all the pipes. So the next thing I want to do now is change the setting of the valve. So I'll open up this valve, and instead of a stroke time of 1 second, I'll change this to 35 seconds stroke time. And say OK. One other thing that's nice here is that you can see there's a little symbol here indicating that this is a scenario data. If I change the scenario up here to the base scenario, you can see it changes that back. So it's depending on the scenario there. All right, so now that we have that, we can just go ahead and just go back to the scenario manager and run the scenario, so it just does a quick comparison. We don't have to go and try to uh, recreate the same events again. And so now you can see the flows are still sloshing around in the pipe, but you can see there's a big improvement here on the pressures, on the max pressure and the min pressure. So if we go here to the study summary, you can see that our engineering acceptance check is now accepted. If you go back to the base scenario, you can see the difference there between these two scenarios. So what this model does is it allows you to pretty quickly look at the improvements to your system in the design process. So I hope that was useful. And if you have any other questions about this model or how to run it, you can always let me know in the comments. But you can also go to my website and you can find this demo model and run it yourself. All right, thanks for watching.